Last Stoners at the Bar!
A night in with Mauler and the drinker, getting trashed with the web's free thinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop off the cork, have a glass of wine. I'll say, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, Mauler and the critical drinker.
Woo! Here we are. We're back.
Hello.
And I'm not dressed as Batman this time in a really uncomfortable cowl. That was a fun night the other night for Halloween, though. I enjoyed our little open bar experience.
Yeah, I still stand the thing. What a legend.
I think so, yeah. I love how that just ended up dominating practically the entire, discourse and the entire league table of monsters. It was good.
It's kind of half what makes him so horrifying, I guess. Imagine Freddy versus the thing. How does that go?
I don't know.
I guess Freddy burns him, right? With dream fire. I don't know.
Well, he gets you with whatever your fear is, I suppose. I mean, he's got his claws and everything.
It's inside the thing's mind, and the thing is like, I don't like fire.
Yeah, there's so many we missed out on. Like, I don't know, like the Thing versus the demon from The Omen, or no, sorry, not The Omen, the Exorcists. What would it do to him? I don't know. It's all good stuff, though. It's weird how the T800 ended up winning almost by default. It's like, well, the demons can't do much against you. You're just a big piece of metal, so I guess you win.
It's funny because there's a lot of matchups where the Terminators just fucking lose quickly. But there's some scenarios where they do real well.
Yeah, and it just depends who got eliminated before then. And, well, I guess it turned out well for the T800. So, well done, sir. Claimed a good victory. But there's a ton of super chats that we got on the night, and we did our best to get through as many as possible then, but we ran out of time because we were too busy ranting. So, should we see if we can do them now?
Yeah.
Matt PG says, crazy weather indeed. 81 degrees today in southern central Pennsylvania. Happy Halloween. Your crazy American temperature gauges don't mean anything to me. I don't know what 81 degrees is. Is that hot? Is it freezing cold? I don't know. But yeah, if it's crazy, then I hope it evens out for you soon. Anyway, happy Halloween to you, man. The Gourd King says, Gary's costume looks like Weird Al Yankovic. I mean, he was going for a lot of different things with that costume, and I think he pulled off every single one of them, didn't he?
Yes.
Snacks. Happy Halloween, open bar. Question for the panel. What is the scariest jump scare in a non-horror film? For me, it's Sam Raimi's Spider-Man when Norman has his flashback. That is actually a good question, actually. So, where do we see jump scares employed outside of horror movies?
There's probably loads of them, but it's like nothing's coming to mind. They're all horror related. Usually, the ones
I mean, yeah, like it's obviously a well-worn device in horror movies. Just trying to think of any times like where, yeah, like say some drama or something, or maybe just a sudden death or something like that.
Bilbo's Gollum face.
Oh yeah. I remember that. Yeah, like seeing that at the cinema. You know, when you've seen something really effective, it actually does give you goosebumps, and it did that with me. I think
it's
pretty good.
Scary, dude.
Good one.
I'd also maybe say do you remember in The Dark Knight when that guy is hanged by the Joker on the window? I think it surprises the mayor. Like slams into screen. They even have the musical sting for it, I think, as well.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
Yeah. It's not so much a jump scare, but I do remember as a kid, you know that bit in Wrath of Khan where they beam aboard that deserted space station and they're kind of looking around. And it's very tense. You don't know where anyone is. And then McCoy just kind of blunders into a dude who's like hanging upside down. He's had his throat slit. I remember as a kid, like that was like proper freaky. I think the music's very effective in that moment. And yeah, like the tension does just build up quite nicely. So that was a pretty good little jump. Cuban says, last stream my super got messed up. I was making a joke that without fog, people were saying that Silent Hill 2 looks like a normal day in the UK. That is completely untrue. Silent Hill is way nicer than most towns in the UK. So, yeah, it's quite pretty in the daytime, actually. Gummy Dally says, "Ah, look, it's Pinch Penny Batman, Drinker McBatman." I mean, it's not like I'm a professional cosplayer, so I don't tend to invest thousands of dollars in or spend hundreds of hours making the best costumes imaginable. But hey, I felt powerful in that bat suit, so that's what counts. Marty McFly's Life Preserver says, "First super chat. Happy Halloween. Any of you planning to see Godzilla -1 in theaters? It's back today, and I saw there's 15 minutes of bonus footage." I did not know that. I don't know if that's a American thing or whether it's out in the UK too. But yeah, I feel like I've probably had my fill of Godzilla -1 already.
I didn't know about that, but I don't know, maybe.
Christopher Howell. Two kinds of countries, those that embrace soccer and those that have put a man on the moon. Oh yeah, I remember that on the night. Yeah. Easty says, "Did you hear the rumor of the 13th Warrior supposed to be a 4-hour epic based on a Book Eaters of the Dead, then hastily recut when Banderas got famous?" I didn't know about the recuts. I know it was based on, I think it was a Michael Crichton novel, called Eaters of the Dead, and the enemies are meant to be like some lost tribe of Neanderthals that survived into the medieval times. Yeah, I didn't know it was a 4-hour epic. Should be quite interesting to see, actually, because it's a criminally underrated movie, actually, The 13th Warrior. I think it's really fun. The cast is great. The dialogue feels quite appropriate for the time. The action sequences are good. I mean, I can't remember if I've ever talked to you about it.
I saw it when I was a kid, and I don't remember much of any of it, so it's been a long time.
Well, I could recommend a rewatch. I think you'd probably enjoy it.
Yeah.
Marksman says Latin American football makes Scots look pleasant. Yeah, they just straight up assassinate players. It's terrifying. Matt PG says, "For me now, American sports on TV is nice for background noise. The officiating is horrendous across most sports." Yeah, I can get behind that. Master of Puppets. "Halo, do you think video game adaptations are better live action or animated? Also, after EFAP 309, I need more French Mauler in my life."
I wouldn't pick one over the other definitively. It would just be about which IP we're doing, I guess. For example, like if they're adapting a Mario game, it probably should be animated, not live action.
Yes. I think maybe something like Tomb Raider might actually lend itself to animation. It's been really horrendously done.
If we were forced to choose all video game adaptations end up animated or live action, I probably would choose animated, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Next one. Ethan Grimes says, "Today is my daughter's 7th birthday and my 34th. Her name is Aria, and she's actually a big fan of your channel." Why are you letting a 7-year-old watch my channel? You insane person. So it would mean the world if you could tell her happy birthday and to go away now. All right, in that case, Aria, happy birthday to you and go away now. There you go. I hope she had a great day.
Yeah.
Lord Altschwift Flowers says, "I work with a lot of Latinos and they love it when I say soccer, that's a game for kids. Why would I care?" Okay. Akirian Carter says, "I think The Substance would have been a great horror movie for you to review, Drinker." Well, who says I won't review it, eh? Ooh, might just do that. I actually just did a Drinker Fixies on Alien Romulus because people have been at me forever to do another Drinker Fixies. So there you go. It's out there now and it's done. I've done my best to fix it. David Gannon says, "Hail chat. I'm in Tennessee and I'm dressed as Sean for Halloween." Nice. "I have my cricket bat, name badge, red pen, and of course I have red on me. I also grew out a goatee and trimmed it just like his. Happy Halloween all." That is an excellent outfit. I did run into a guy in a pub in Dundee actually dressed as Shaun of the Dead. Must have been about 15 years ago. I even had some records under his arm, for throwing at the zombies. I was like, that's attention to detail. I like it. Brian Burrows says, "Hot take. Dragon Age Veilguard will improve the gaming industry the same way that the Holocaust improved human rights." I mean, potentially. We'll see what comes of this. I think their concurrent players have been low right off the bat, and they've fallen quite drastically since the game came out, so that's not a good sign.
Yeah, it is awful. So I assume we'll be seeing lots more things as a result of this game going forward in terms of how it performs and what's next for BioWare and other games as a warning. Lots of big, costly game failures in our generation, huh?
There certainly are. It's just, yeah, the amount of money that gets thrown at these projects is mind-blowing to me. Like, they are... I know they used to joke in the past, like, oh yeah, games now have got like movie scale budgets, but no, they really do. Like we're talking like $200, $300, $400 million on some games, and development cycles that lasts the better part of a decade.
Insane, absolutely insane.
There is no reason for them to take that long and eat up that many resources. It's got to be corporate bloat. Avarith says, this open bar is in honor of Spartan 117. All right, nice. David Gannon says, the writers of Lost lied in the Season 2 DVDs. An Easter egg reveals when them talking about the hatch, and they say, we knew there'd be a hatch at the end of Season 1, but we didn't know what was in it, so we had to come up with something. Is that fucking true?
Well, I mean, even if it weren't stated outright, I would believe it 100%. As a Lost enjoyer, at least the earlier seasons, I felt it like a sort of like, do they? They probably have no clue.
Did you find the resolution to the hatch thing interesting or satisfying? Because I remember being fine with it. I think that was the period where it was still quite good.
For the record, when you don't have a plan and you set some stuff up and then you nail it, you know, all right, I guess good. But I still would never recommend that format. I would always, I mean, we were talking a bit about writing, but like having an idea, you don't have to write out the whole thing ahead of time, but knowing the broad strokes of what's going to happen is always going to be the better thing to do, I think. But yeah, the hatch, the idea was like, I want to say it was like an experiment run by a thing to see how long people press the button, but if you didn't, it was like letting off pressure, right, or something.
Yeah, some kind of energy or something.
And they believe it is like just, you know, an insane thing that's almost an experiment, or whatever. And then they prevent John Locke from continuing it, and then it blows up the whole place, right, or something.
Well, Desmond, I think, pushes a failsafe button or something. But like,
yeah.
He's told, like, he has no idea if it's going to work or what. He just like does it as a last resort, and it's
is that
what it does. It like kind of like blows up the hatch and stuff, and then he gets thrown out into the jungle, and then dissipates the energy.
It's that organization, right? What were they called?
Dharma, the Dharma Initiative.
That's it, yeah.
I liked the because I'm pretty sure there was also, because there was like stations set up across the channel, and one of them was to monitor the people in the hatch pressing the button, and they would fill out reports that they'd put in like a pneumatic tube and then send it off for analysis, and like the tube just like deposited into the jungle.
Yeah,
like it didn't go anywhere, and it's just like, that is so fucking perfect. It's just like, again, another layer of testing the human ability to perform pointless tasks.
Yeah, I remember it being interesting and having, I'm not going to say it was perfect, but certainly enough that we, you know, it's like, oh yeah, there's stuff to think about that, lots of meaning to pull out of it. But the more Lost went on, the more they tried to outdo themselves with their you know, crazy reveals and stuff.
I think this is probably a problem that almost any mystery is going to suffer from, where the ultimate explanation is never going to be as satisfying as just what your mind can conjure up, like the possibilities of the unknown and the mysteries that they've set up. Like, they're never going to be able to give an answer that makes you think, oh, wow, holy shit, it was worth watching this show for the past, like, 6 years to get these answers.
You know, part of why I think it's impossible to defeat the imagination is because the imagination is constantly... it doesn't require necessary coherence for every plot point. Like, when your head moves through all kinds of ideas, you're like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this or that or this or that or that? Like, they can all be simultaneously running. They don't need to be connected or assessed for quality. You're just enjoying the potential.
Yes, I agree 100%. And so it is a tough one. And it, like, some of it comes down to human psychology, but as you pointed out before, it would also really help if you kind of planned it out in advance and just really put a lot of time and effort into thinking, like, what is our resolution to this? You know, let's make sure that it makes sense and it's really interesting, or as good as it can be.
The triad gang leader man in the Penguin that they're making a deal with, he played one of the Dharma bosses, didn't he? Or he was like on the help tapes or whatever.
I believe so.
Pretty sure he was. It's like
We're talking like we're going back 20 years or so.
Yeah,
That's
I
the-
was just looking at his IMDb and I'm pretty sure he is. He looks
That's
a
the-
lot younger. Turns out
Yeah.
20 years is time.
20 years is time, yeah. When did it begin? Like, this is the terrifying
Lost?
thing. 2004. Yeah, it literally is 20 years old.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I still think of it as being a relatively recent thing, and I need to get my mind out of that way of thinking. It's like, it's not.
I know what you mean.
It's like, yeah, Drinker, the 2000s, that was a really long time ago now. It's not just recent.
The crazy thing is when you're, I mean, and it's funny me saying this, I guess, but when you're talking to someone like a content creator or whatever, and they're like, you find out they were born when you were watching Lost, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Motherfucker, yeah.
Okay.
Curse you for being young.
Curse your youth.
It always reminds me of the League of Gentlemen, where it's like Edward's like, "You march in here young, trying to touch the local things." Anyway, enough ranting there. Paul Sliuka says, "What you bring me," in quotation marks. Love your guys' work and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Was says, Drinker, please make a video of this conversation on writing. I love hearing writers talk shop. Best to you all. I mean, I could. What, do you want a clip, or do you want me to actually like share my thoughts in a scripted video? I could probably do either, because I like talking about writing. It's kind of my thing. So yeah, either way, I'm fine with it. Kaisertron says, greetings to the bar. Given the season, what's your favorite Halloween food or meal? There's a good one.
Halloween food or meal?
Because us humans, we like to eat things occasionally.
Well, you got the, I don't really care about candy corn at all. So that's like a Halloween thing. What are the Halloween foods are there?
Well, when I was in America for like October, like I had pumpkin pie. That's quite Halloween-y. And this is quite nice, actually. I like that. Did you ever have toffee apples, like when you were a kid and you went like Halloweening and such?
Yeah,
like
sure.
I quite like them, weirdly.
I mean, eventually Halloween food just becomes, those creative, like, oh, look, I made finger biscuits or a bunch of spooky ghost cream things, just whatever.
Yeah, because you go into like Tesco's and they've usually got like a whole section on Halloween party foods and stuff, and it'll be like, spooky mac and cheese bites. I was like, what's spooky about it? It's just mac and cheese in a bowl.
We put little eyes on it. Like,
okay. That's it. That's all it is. Ed Song says, it's poon time. Pasta Goblin, probably. Begin Disparu's Space Marine breeding program. What's that? Has he got a specific program in mind?
We should have asked him. Oh, well.
Yeah. Dream Killer says, I went to school at Greenham Common in the 80s. Our smoke breaks were in the same place as the teachers. Crazy now. That is, the 80s was a very different time. I to the C to the E says, my economics professor used to say, teaching economics is like being a virgin, explaining the Kama Sutra. That's, that's fair enough. I get that. We were talking about like those who can't teach, I suppose. Jesse George says, cool costume, lol. Yeah, it is. It was. Maybe I'm wearing it right now. You don't know.
Oh, my God.
That Nobody guy says, in Batman Begins, how did everyone around not get popped like a balloon by the microwave weapon? Last I checked, water is a big part of humans.
There would have been an enormous amount of deaths, even not including that. It's blowing up all forms of water. Can you imagine?
Anyone's taking a shower, like, that's it, you're dead.
Shower, toilet, taking a drink of water, doing any kind of work that involves any kind of water.
Imagine if you're taking a dump and then that happens. It's like you literally get ass blasted.
I feel like it's also Gotham would just be fucked. Like, it would blow up every pipe.
Yeah.
Holy shit, the infrastructure. I know that was commented on in the film, but I remember when I first saw the film and subsequently every time, I was always just like, what a dumb fucking plan. Why? it's like we got to cleanse the evil of Gotham by killing everyone because the train is heading toward is it like the central water system or something? It's gonna blow
Yes.
it all up, and then I just
Yeah.
remember being like, what the fuck?
Dumb villain plans are kind of a thing of like the Nolan trilogy, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess the smartest one would be the Joker's, but
Yeah.
he's not even trying to he's just trying to prove a point about human nature.
Yeah. I mean, his aside, like even like we pointed it out, it's like, yeah, if you had a boat full of criminals and a boat full of innocent civilians, like I think we know who would press the button and like who should probably go down.
Well, the
But
thing that gets me about that is that Batman stops the Joker just before he kills them both, and if he had killed them both as a consequence of them not choosing when you laid out the rules, I don't know what we as the audience are supposed to think about that. You know?
well, he would have failed in his mission. Like he's failed to prove that humans are fundamentally
Well, that's true,
evil, or like
but
civilization can just be brought down.
is that a good outcome though? Like everyone dies because we didn't choose to kill the one boat or the other, sort of thing.
I mean, yeah, morally, it's not a good outcome. I mean, I think in whatever headspace the Joker occupies, like it wouldn't even matter. Like he's just out to cause as much mayhem and carnage as possible, I suppose. And
Well, yeah,
if he can,
because this is what I mean about it, right? Like if you remember, Batman says you wanted to prove everybody was as rotten as you, or whatever, and you were wrong. And it's like, well, I don't know. I think Disprue was even saying this. I don't know that that's the evil decision to blow up one of the boats to save one of them. You know?
exactly, yeah, I think there's arguments you could definitely make there for sure. Well, oh well.
I think if it were like split into 100 people and 100 people, and we were in one of them, and we got blown up by a coin toss, I guess I would have to say, and if I was able to be asked this question after being blown up, like, were you okay with that? I'd be like, well, I'd rather that than all 200 blow up. So, you know, like, I'd be like, yeah, I guess you got me.
I mean, yeah, I suppose. 2% right says, you read my Space CC's super chat on a last call. Was sad that you moved on immediately. Honestly thought it would have stumped you to enough to cause you to look it up and laugh at the similarities. So, Space CC's, what is that?
Space sissies?
Well, he spelled it CC's as in cease and desist.
Oh.
Was sad you moved on immediately. Honestly thought I would have stumped you to enough to cause you to look it up and laugh at the similarities. Hold on a minute. Looking it up. No, this is all just talking about like the edge of the universe, that sort of thing. So, yeah, not sure what that was at the time. I suppose if it was any sort of thing where it's like, yeah, we want you to, look up a trailer or, look up this video that's like 15 minutes long talking about a specific subject. It's not really something that we can just drop everything and do like there and then on a super chat catch up or something like that. So maybe that was the reason. Yeah, apologies. Tom Waiting says, in an alternate universe, Drinker and Mauler started reviewing movies online earlier, ended up joining Channel Awesome, and were even in the anniversary movies. Let us take a moment to ponder and speculate on this universe. Honestly, man, this could have happened to me, actually, because, I mean, I never would have been successful enough at the time to join them, but I was operating in that time frame where maybe around 2010, I was making YouTube videos and like just dicking around reviewing stuff, and I was starting to, I guess, develop what would become the Drinker persona. And I stopped because I got my first publishing deal, so I was like, okay, I want to focus on writing. But that was just when the channel was starting to pick up, and it was getting like, I don't know, 10, 15,000 views a month, and it was like, the upward trajectory was really starting to take off. And I do wonder sometimes, like, what might have happened if I continued on that iteration of like my channel? Where would it have gotten to? Would it have had some video go viral, or would it just topped out at a few thousand subscribers and then just died off? I have no idea. But it's kind of curious to ponder.
I easily could have slipped into that if I were older back earlier, as in like I had like 3 different phases of starting up to make reviews and stopping until the Last Jedi one actually kicked off. Not in the sense that I was waiting for the videos to do anything. It was literally like, I could make a video. Oh, I won't. And then, a few years pass, I'm like, I could make a video. I'm going to write one. And I do. And then I'm like, I'm not going to go any further than that. And then the next time it's like, I'll write it, and I'll have the program, and I'll get some visuals, and I'll even record a few lines and paragraphs, and I'm like, nah, actually. And then the next time I decide to do it, I actually get to a point of completing a video.
Were you ever tempted to do it in a different style, like to try and mimic that Channel Awesome style, where there you are on camera doing crazy skits and all that stuff?
What's crazy is I always found Channel Awesome kind of cringy in terms of their in-house. You know, the thing I didn't like the most about it was the thing that I heard Nostalgia Critic wanted everyone to do, which was to try and be as animated as possible, be as upbeat as possible, and do all of that sort of stuff. So I was already the miserable British man when it came to. So like the idea that I was like, I just can't go like, hey everyone, and welcome to the video. We're gonna talk about Pirates of the Caribbean 3. I'd be like, no, I can't do that. So I was thinking to myself, like, I don't know if I'd be accepted even if I did try. But there were some creators on their website when you look around the whole thing who were much more lowly viewed that seemed to get away with doing their own shit. And I was like, maybe they let you if there's less worry about, I don't know, your representative of the website itself. So I thought maybe if I made like a backlog of a couple that I could present it and then be given my own space or something. But
yeah.
But yeah, I've always I'm trying to remember because I never quite liked Nostalgia Critic. I always thought it was too much for me. Some of the stuff he made was funny and whatever at the time, but there was a couple of other people that I preferred. There was a guy called Welshie on there, and I was like, oh my god.
Now I'm just thinking of Futurama with the giant fat fucking Scotty guy. No, I was very much the same. Like I didn't watch many of the Channel Awesome guys because like you say, it always felt like they were trying like way too hard. And Nostalgia Critic, I just found his voice too annoying. It was like too loud and squeaky, and like just the whole like screeching at the camera thing like never really got me. I think probably my favorite would have been Spoonie back in the day. Like I remember some of his reviews being quite funny and like doing things like a breakdown of Final Fantasy VIII and stuff. Like he was pretty good. Like when he was actually motivated to make good stuff, he was he was a pretty decent reviewer. It's just like he fucking fell off a cliff, man. So yeah, like Channel Awesome just wasn't really my thing, but it's such a fascinating relic of a very different era in YouTube. Like it's so antiquated now. But I mean, it's still going, isn't it? Like, just in some way.
Yeah, Nostalgia Critic certainly.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't think the video game nerd was never part of Channel Awesome, was he? Or was he?
I think they had their crossovers. I think. Right. I don't think they were ever the same because it. Fuck, that's like internet lore. I think they had their own Channel Awesome, and then what was AVGN a part of? Was Blistered Thumbs, or was that something else?
I don't know.
The Cinemassacre, that was it.
We're into the mists of time right now. Yeah, Cinemassacre. Yeah, that was his thing. Yeah, I enjoyed his stuff, and it's still, occasionally he produces the odd banger, but yeah, I quite liked him. He really seemed to care about the things he was talking about, and I think he got his style down pretty well. Anyway, Ash Scoochies says Venom 3 was so bad. How is it even possible that a beloved IP with a big budget can have such bad writing? Oh, they'll find a way. They always do. Dave's ARC says Azzy's avatar is more horrendous than any cosmic horror hiding behind Waller's mask. Gods tell him to put that thing out of its misery. What is his avatar again?
You've seen it.
Just the heel versus babyface logo.
No, the creature from his game, right? The Velgard.
Oh, right, yeah.
You've seen it. You must have.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it on Twitter.
He and I, clearly, like when I was making mine, I was like, I'm never able to compare to his, so I shouldn't try. And I went with the Joker instead, but fucked.
Right. I do like it though. Claudio Rogashan says Evil Dead is the most consistent horror franchise. I mean, I guess. Like, because Raimi's been involved in all of them, hasn't he? So I suppose that always helps. Timmy says, saw John Carpenter's The Thing at cinemas last night. Still one of the greatest movies ever. Are you proud of me, guys? I'm so proud of you, man. Well done. Drake Timbershaft. Gary looks like what would happen if Anthony Mackie and Amanda Stenberg had a baby. Daffy Duck. Drinker, you're dead again. Nah, just kidding. But it is Halloween, so everyone on the panel, you're trapped on the Nostromo. Can you survive the alien or not? I think we got asked this at the time, didn't
Yeah,
we?
we worked through it because we had to come up with a couple of things of like, how much do we know at the time and all that.
Yeah. Cole Hauser says William Shatner was supposed to be on Enterprise. Yes, I heard about that. For the finale, maybe? And then it all fell through. It's fucking criminal that they've never used him again. I mean, he's right there, guys. He's a natural resource. Use him before he's depleted.
Yeah, same for all old actors. Make as soon as they decide they'd like to retire, force them to make 100 movies.
Cannon Folderall. Drunken Scotsman in a cheap costume for a laugh is still more respectful and better written Batman than the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game. Cheers and happy Halloween.
Yep.
I feel like it probably would be, yeah. Jay Smart says, where's the liquor? Where is it? I'll settle for whiskey. Daffy Duck. Gary isn't surviving dress as... What's that? Gary isn't surviving dressed as he is. I assume that's if he wants to go out and walk the streets. No, I wouldn't recommend it. Ed Song says the Dark Horse Comics continues with an aged Hicks and a teenage Newt. The Earth is fucked and swarming with aliens. There's also a story of a human female predator. Well, okay. I've never read the comics or anything like that. I think I've read a couple of novelizations in the Alien universe. They were all right. They kind of moved way beyond the Ripley stuff and just like introduced whole new characters, but they're fine for what they were. He also says, my profession is child. What is yours? Murder, criminal, body snatcher. Good matchup. Cool. Bean Burritos says, talk about your best childhood costumes. So when we were out and about for Halloween.
I had a lot of like regular-y ones. Like we didn't have like complicated sort of, like the ones you see that are amazingly impressive. But I did dress up as the T-800 a few times from T2. A big
really
biker jacket, yeah, and like a toy gun sort of thing. I mean, I love T2 forever. It was always one of my favorite films.
I think the best one I had was Freddy Krueger because like my granddad or something had like the hat. Like obviously it was like, his one was actually just a regular hat, but it was the perfect style for Freddy Krueger. And I managed to find like a stripy jumper and I had the claw. Like you could somehow get it. Like obviously you couldn't get it online or something, but they must have sold it in a toy store somewhere. So I had like the claw hand. And I was like, this is brilliant. I think I even had some like, it must have just been paint or something that I put on my face to try and make it look more kind of burned and fucked up. But yeah, I remember that being quite good. I like that. Right. Oh yeah, we did that one about the crack commando team who was going to take on the Predator. Paul Stramby says, Drinker, thank you for writing such awesome antagonists in your books. If Hawkins and Marcus Kane had a fight, who wins? Well, that's a battle of brain versus brawn, isn't it? Paul, you actually also gave me a fucking awesome like gift box with drinking implements in it. Like there was those like granite ice cubes that you get, like 2 beautiful glasses, slate, coasters and everything. So thank you very much for them. But yeah, for the fight between Kane and Hawkins, I think Hawkins would probably win if it was just like a straight up brawl. He's like younger and way stronger. But if it was a battle of wits, yeah, Kane would outmaneuver him easily. Retro Meister says Matthew Lillard's Stu Macker was and is the true Ghostface killer. Such a missed opportunity to not bring him back for Scream 5 while killing off Dewey in the most disrespectful way, like with James Bond. I mean, Stu got a fucking TV dropped on his head, so I don't know if he's going to be coming back. Like,
I've seen people say they want Matthew Lillard back, and I was like, surely it's just something you could just do, because I don't know how serious Scream is now that it's in like its 7th iteration.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, there's probably going to be ways, but
make it his twin.
It was kind of shit how they killed off Dewey. I was like, he's such a beloved character, and it just felt like he deserved more.
I can't relate. I saw Scream 1 and 2 and kind of forgot a lot of it by the time I was older.
It was it came at the perfect time for me, I think, because I was in like early years of high school, and it just was this phenomenon. Everyone was fucking watching the
I
Scream
remember,
movies when they
yeah.
came out, and it was kind of like Buffy as well. Like everyone was watching that in the early seasons. It just somehow struck a chord, and
Well,
I guess it was just the right time in our lives.
we were talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer, which was kind of crazy successful for a film that's so. I hope I don't step on anyone's toes here. Kind of shit.
Yeah,
This guy in a fisherman outfit just has a bunch of mundane kills that are pretty simplistic in a what seems to be low budget, series of areas of a town to film with dialogue that's kind of and the mystery is kind of It's just like, yeah, that's that, and then it ends, and you're just like, well, that was that, and it's like that was like a runaway success in that era. People loved that kind of horror, I guess.
yeah. I don't remember that movie making much of an impression on me one way or the other. It was just, I was a bit like kind of confused as to what the point of it was, and just kind of moved on without thinking too much about it. I always felt like things like the Scream movies were more accessible, I suppose.
Yeah, I preferred Scream. But just for reference, right? I Know What You Did Last Summer at a 17 million budget, 125 million worldwide.
Damn,
So
pretty good.
how?
Yeah. Why? Mega Spidey Man. Happy Halloween, lads. Favorite Frankenstein and why? You didn't say on last orders. Okay. Favorite
Favorite
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
I mean, I guess it would be easy to pick the classics like the Christ, what was that guy's name that played the original Frankenstein? Karloff, like Boris Karloff. With the bolts through the neck and stuff. Like it's kind of the iconic shambling monster. But
so because we have not a great selection of Frankensteins, we've got the I never saw Victor Frankenstein. I heard people liked that, but I don't know. The I Frankenstein movie. Did you ever hear about that one? It had
Aaron Eckhart.
yeah, I never
That
saw
was
that.
That was
I remember
weird.
people saying it was like they tried to make Frankenstein hot, which I thought was really funny as a
They
concept.
were, because he's all buff and everything, and he's not like a shambling monster, So
I
you
think
got
I'm
the
just starting
Robert.
to realize how little of Frankenstein content I've actually watched. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's very much like a classic era monster, and it's probably quite hard to update for the modern era to make it like still relevant and not just goofy and stupid.
yeah,
They did quite a good job with Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. The Robert De Niro one. That's pretty good.
I don't think I've seen that actually.
Oh, you should give that a watch. I think it's Kenneth Branagh who plays like Frankenstein, the creator, and then De Niro plays the monster. But it's done with a much more serious tone, and he gets to speak. He's not just like a big lumbering beast kind of monster. Like he's much more like what would it do to a person if they were brought back to life, but like they're assembled from like this collection of body parts, and they don't really recognize themselves anymore. Kind of plays into that a bit, which is good.
Then there's the Van Helsing one, but I don't know.
He's steam powered. I love that about him. Like when he moves, you get little gusts of steam coming out of like his joints.
He's also got like a thing in his head, right? It's all electrical. You see it like
yeah.
There's a lot of Frankenstein stuff. I just haven't seen much of it.
Yeah. I'll go with fuck it. I'm going to go with the Van Helsing one just for the sheer balls to the wall stupidity of it. Why not? F says, would coming back after getting mulched up not be too unlike saying Jason wins because immortality means he just outlives Leatherface after 1,000 years? I mean, I suppose, because Leatherface is just a human. He'll die eventually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, these were the discussions that were had. Hidden Duck says, Nemesis or Mr. X? I'm going to pick Mr. X.
That's a question for you because I don't really know them that well.
Did you play the Resident Evil 2 remake?
Only briefly. I didn't get into it enough to say anything about it.
Man, for someone who played Resident Evil 4, I would have figured you would get right into that remake.
It's so funny. I didn't just play Resident Evil 4. It's like a game I'm obsessed with. I've played it a million times on every platform and throughout my life. Resident Evil 4 is one of the best games ever made, but I don't know. I just didn't feel as inclined with other Resident Evil games. I feel like Resident Evil 4, its collection of... It kind of defined a whole ass genre. So many copycats came as a result of Resident Evil 4. Even Resident Evil as a franchise tried to copy it.
Oh, yeah.
So fucking good.
But yeah, if I had to define like my favorite between the two, I think Mr. X is like way more intimidating. Like it's the fact that he doesn't make any noise, like he doesn't speak or anything. He's just like thudding after you, and he's just like this relentless pursuer. Doesn't like growl or roar like Nemesis does, and he doesn't have weapons that he fires at you. Like nothing like eliminates the terror factor than giving your enemy a bazooka or something stupid like that. He just comes at you and clubs you to death and like throws you through walls. Like that's way more intimidating. So yeah, I think Mr. X is the better antagonist. Scarlock says, "What if Leatherface ate Jason? How's he coming back from that? Is he he is a cannibal after all?"
You
That's
know
true. He could
exactly
eat him.
how he would chop them into pieces, eat them one by one by one by one by one, like little pieces, and then it would be like burp or something, and be like, it's done. And then it would like fade to black a week later, and then Leatherface is like, oh, I don't feel so good. And then Jason bursts out of him fully formed, and it would just be like, there you go, that makes sense. You're like, okay.
Or he eats him, shits him out, right? And it would be like the liquid metal scene from T2, you know, when he's been like shattered into pieces and you just see all the turds like coming together and like reforming into him. Like, oh shit, he's coming back. What's this one? The Hidden Duck says Kurt Russell or Mel Gibson. I'm going for Kurt Russell.
In like, you know, like a fight, and
I don't
at
know,
prime,
like,
both of them.
who do you love more? I don't know.
I love Kurt Russell more, but I feel like Mel Gibson might win in a fight with both of them at their prime because Mel Gibson's fucking nuts.
He is nuts, yeah. But Kurt Russell in his peak was fucking huge. I don't know if you've ever seen Soldier, but he was.
I'm actually not even. I wasn't even going with muscle. I was literally just going with personality. Like, Mel, you remember the part of Patriot where he's just covered in blood, going nuts?
Yeah,
I just pictured that man. It's the one that Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell's like wisecracking, kind of, and just I don't know. Yeah,
I don't think Mel Gibson was even acting then. I think he just let his true personality shine through.
Yep.
Heroes says Sauron versus Agent Smith. I think Sauron would destroy him, really, unless he was in the Matrix somewhere.
Yeah, other than Matrix mechanics getting weird, I still feel like Sauron just fucking annihilates Smith.
Yeah. Jay Fraser says, "Hail Jensen, happy Halloween. What is your favorite horror score and composer? For me, my favorite score is Elm Street and Saw, and favorite composer is John Carpenter." He does have a very unsettling way about him, John Carpenter, with his synth music and stuff. I think the favorite horror score I remember was either The Shining, which is properly unsettling. It's just this, like, when it hits you with the big stingers, it's like this jarring, discordant noise. It's like so intense. Or possibly the score from The Omen, because like again, when that like thunderous kind of orchestral music comes in, man, that hits hard.
Because obviously we had a discussion about The Thing semi-recently, and I fucking love the main theme in The Thing for so many reasons, like in terms of how it's designed best for the film. And the idea that it was shat on by many people when it released initially is very sad to me.
So many John Carpenter movies got shat on initially and then just went on to be these like absolute cult classics. It's interesting. Crit Nature says, the makers of Freddy vs. Jason knew exactly what they were doing. 1, simple story. 2, Freddy and Jason. 3, metal. That's all it needs.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's not exactly a horror movie, but it was fun to see, I suppose. Cosmic Burrito. Happy Halloween, everyone. A good game to movie adaptation would be Dead Space with David Fincher directing. Also, who would win? Jeepers Creepers guy versus Jason.
Jeepers Creepers guy can fly, right?
Can, yeah. I'm not sure how killable he is either.
I can't remember. I've seen Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2, but I can't remember.
Don't they?
I think they kill him in the second one, right?
Yeah, but isn't it more like he will reanimate eventually? Like, I think after like 20 years or something, he's meant to come back. So, like, at the end, it's like the main character, but he's old now and he's just like sitting in the barn with like the creeper's corpse like strung up on the wall, like just with a shotgun ready to go. So, like, knowing he's going to come back sooner or later. So, I guess he would win. Maybe. The Hidden Duck says, the Death Angels have a super bullshit magic armor. It's boring. Xenos get the style win.
The question wasn't style. Everyone would choose Alien over those fuckers. Are you kidding me? That's what I like get sad about with these sorts of things, because I have obvious personal favorites, but I have to ignore all of that and be like, yeah, I guess the Gooba OC, like my cool thing can't be killed, wins.
I do hate that though in movies where you've got some antagonist and it's just invulnerable to gunfire for no reason.
Oh, dude, I didn't buy it. In The Quiet Place, when they said the Death Angels arrived and they have such amazing armor that nothing from the militaries of Earth could stop them. And then, of course, we crack that a certain frequency will make them open up their shielding and kill them. I was like, yeah, we would have won. There's no way. There's just no fucking way these guys would beat. You guys underestimate humans.
Yeah. It's like in, even something like Cloverfield, right? Where, they're hitting it with like artillery shells and then dropping like B-2 stealth bombers or dropping like heavy bombs right on it. And it doesn't even phase it. And I'm just like, well, how? How can any physical thing withstand that kind of damage? Unless it's got like some crazy energy shield on it, like a space alien or something. This is just flesh and blood.
They're
like,
lying,
how can it possibly tank
lies.
that? Yeah, it's just bullshit. And it's like, okay, make it really tough, but it can still be hurt. Like, that's at least something.
You know what? I know the perfect film for you. A big movie monster that still can be taken down ultimately by human weaponry if enough is fired at it. You'll love it. It's called Roland Emmerich's Godzilla.
Well, it doesn't guarantee success.
I think it's just a matter of, you got to find a way to better balance and justify it. If it's like Godzilla, I always like the idea that it can power up from nukes and stuff, and that it's this thing is beyond hyper duper super booper powerful, but there's still going to be other monsters, and then a certain amount of artillery maybe that can take it down. There's just storytelling ways to try and balance this, but like I said, the Death Angels, the way they were presented, I just didn't buy it at all.
No,
I find the mimics way more viable in Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, well, there's an in-universe reason why they're so well prepared for humans, and it's like, okay, that's cool.
There's that, but it's also just the way that they move and how they work. I thought, yeah, these are way more of a threat than the fucking Death Angels.
Yeah, because they can just somehow like tumble around the battlefield like super fast, and they can turn on a dime. Yeah, pretty formidable. Skull says the thing that Xenomorph can learn and adapt. The Death Angel is just a wild animal with one singular sense on overkill. The Xenos wins. I mean, maybe. Radio Spec says another thing question. The thing wants to freeze and McCready wants to destroy the station to warm it up, but surely he knows it won't last. Is this a plot hole or am I missing something?
There's a couple things you could say, like, for example, with the thing, if it just sprinted out as soon as possible as Blair into the ice, it could achieve that goal. But, I mean, McCready's speculating on exactly what the ending of the thing is. That moment, I think, is more so a recognition that, guys, this thing will destroy humanity and it's up to us to stop it. Like, which I quite enjoy, because they all seem to be on board with that. They're like, yeah, we're going to have to die to prevent it from escaping. But the thing at that point, if you look at it, I think its motivation is not to simply go into the ice or anything. I think it wants to kill them first.
Well, yeah,
especially because it knows they know, right?
Yeah, and not just that. Like, if it goes into the ice, say it like runs off into the night and just freezes, there's a good chance it might never be found by anyone. It'll just be lying there for essentially eternity, just frozen. Like, that's not going to help its cause. It wants to spread.
It would be the better choice than annihilation, but yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think it wants to see about other options first. I think Kurt Russell's more so talking about that's always the option for the thing. It's always got that option.
Yeah. Thumb Ugly says Alien 1, smart, stealthy aliens. Sorry, so smart and stealthy aliens. Dollar store Starship Troopers bug. Not even the same creatures. Cheers, gents. I resent that. I think they're dealing with much more powerful humans with better weapons.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is that it's an interesting creature that adapts to not only its power level but its opponents. And the alien in Alien actually does, if you remember with the last two penultimate kills, it does just approach them. I think it knew that it could take out Parker while Lambert was just going to fucking freak out anyway. So, like it can take some risks here and there. What it did with Dallas, arguably, if Dallas were faster, he might have been able to blast it. But, what I'm saying is the alien does just eventually run up to someone and attack them. It's not exactly the smartest decision what it does with Ripley at the end. It's sitting where it is for a while. If there's a lot of weapons she could potentially have that would have killed it there. And then she does, of course, kill it. I guess what I'm saying is that the alien, I don't think we should necessarily interpret it as some impossible to understand life form. Like, it does a lot of normalish things.
Yeah. I never quite got my head around what it was trying to do when it was on board the escape shuttle. Like, when she retreats into the cupboard and she's like getting the space suit on. And it just seems to be kind of licking the environment. Like, it's, I don't know, is it like trying to build a nest in there or what?
I thought he was just trying to hide and nestle in, ready to hopefully escape with her. Like, it knew. The part that I guess maybe throws me off a bit is if it knew that, then why does it take so long to account for the fact that it's just been found by her?
Yeah.
Because he does kind of climb out after a while.
Well, she has to blast it with the steam to get it moving, I suppose.
Well, he does the jump scare of the hand comes out, right?
Like, yeah, and then totally. And then she just runs away. Yeah, that was a good jump scare. Actually, I like that one.
Oh, I love it, dude. Especially when I first watched it, because they do a good job in that one of being like, "It's over, right? It's over, right? It's over." Oh, it's not over at all.
Yeah, because it blends quite well into the background there, because there's a lot of like pipes and weird machinery and stuff, and so the head just kind of like fits in quite naturally there.
Oh, it's beautiful. And I think they took that forward well in Aliens, but obviously with the hive aesthetic having been overwrought with the environment, I love that about Alien, and I love the industrial tech biology of the alien design, so that they can make use of that in the ship. Alien is fucking great. Look, all of us would pick Alien over the Death Angels, to be clear.
Yes.
We just wanted to be, careful about the fight, that's all.
Oh, yeah. Jen Mai Cha says, I asked this on Little Platoon stream, and I thought it would suit the day here. Which film had the better cannibal sex orgy, Conan or Event Horizon? I voted Conan. The Conan one is a much slower paced one, and like they try to actually go for the kind of sensuality, whereas Event Horizon is just like human beings fucking tearing themselves apart in a giant like sadomasochistic orgy. So I suppose like what I'm saying is it depends what you want to get out of your cannibalistic sex orgies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think Event Horizon manages to be more successfully disgusting and freaky, so I kind of give it that. The Hidden Duck says, hand blades only, Predator versus Death Angel. I mean, I think the Death Angel would win by those standards.
It's just a question whether or not the plasma caster counts as damaging the Death Angel. If it can't, then yeah, the Predator's fucked, because none of its weapons are getting through its armor, and then it'll just kill him.
Jay Fraser, Mauler and Drinker, the creators behind Aliens Expanded, are creating a new documentary based on another sci-fi horror classic, The Thing Expanded. Ooh,
fuck yeah, dude.
That'll be good. Marksman says the engineer is Jesus. He converted the Predator to Christianity. Sure, I think we could do that. Jeremy Soden, Pinhead versus Samara pretty much defines incommensurable. What are they supposed to do to each other?
That was what we said.
Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah. Sometimes I just picked ones that were fucking random, and I thought, let's just match them up and see what conversations we can generate out of it.
What you get, like the fundamental point of why these conversations are fun, is it gets a quick review of the power level of any given character, and then a quick understanding of whether or not there's any interaction at all, and then whether or not that could overplay or not on a balance of probabilities. It's just nerd shit.
Exactly, yeah. Dauntless says the Pinhead will watch the video for fun. He will also take her to hell and put her into eternal damnation and purgatory. Possibly. James Moore says Pennywise is permanently killed at the end of It when the kids become adults. He is, yes. Silent Evil says Happy Halloween. Be in front of your TV at 9. What happens at 9? Marksman says The Thing eats Gary and then forgets what it is. Okay. Mr. E says Drinker's blood probably wouldn't resist the Thing, although it may get the Thing intoxicated. It'd be funny to see the Thing drunk, or bear with me, because the Thing caused the Thing to die of alcohol poisoning. I would say so, yeah. I don't think even the Thing could handle me. James Moore says Deadites can possess living people. It's shown in both Evil Dead 2 and Ash versus the Evil Dead. The question is if they can possess a werewolf or not. That is the question. I think they probably could.
Probably. Maybe. I don't know.
Jay Fraser. Ronald D. Moore is God of War's new showrunner. Ah, okay. David Nelson says, how about the Stuff versus the Blob? Yeah, they're essentially the same thing, aren't they? Did we do the Blob versus the Thing?
We did not do the Blob as the Thing, but that one might actually be one of the ultimate sort of the writer's going to have to decide because they are way too similar.
Yeah, because the Blob, it doesn't so much mimic you, it just absorbs you and
I would
dissolves
say
your body.
there is a meaningful difference between the Blob and the Thing, but I still don't know which one wins.
I think if the Blob could get the Thing into a good headlock and just kind of like envelop it, it could probably just absorb it. But yeah, that would just come down to opinion.
Yeah, because the Thing can just spread through the Blob and completely absorb it itself. It just depends on who decides who wins. But that's another film we should probably do some coverage of sometime. The Blob, Frank Darabont's one, very good.
Yeah. The Salt Merchant says, "Sorry guys, love the stream, but Medicare is live. Happy Halloween." Thank you.
Happy Halloween.
Hound of Ill Omens says, "Pazuzu, God's God out of hell. Cain is an undead that already existed in our world." All right. Joe Lamont says, "Pazuzu versus Zool. Zool for the win." What do you reckon there, Mauler?
Zool's power set is kind of difficult to nail down. Exactly right.
Yeah,
because
it kind of
by
wants
proton pack / crossing the stream. I don't know.
Yeah, and it kind of requires its enemy to choose the form of its own destruction, and I don't know if you could do that with Pazuzu.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So yeah, I maybe again, don't know how they'd interact with each other. James Moore says, "I Am Legend aren't zombies; they're vampires, and they do have intelligence. They make traps and can tear through walls." Yes, they are more like zombies. Sorry, more like vampires.
I'd say they are directly in the middle of zombie and vampire. Their intelligence isn't fantastic, and they're very anger horde driven. You know,
like they can't talk either, can they?
I don't remember them being able to talk, but yes, they can set a trap and they can plan. So it's like they are definitely a step above zombies, but they're not vampire level of intelligence.
Yeah, No Quarter, No Mercy says, "Bill Whittle is a YouTuber who's been trying to get hold of you or Nerdrotic. I highly recommend that you two correspond." Okay. Casey Boyd says, "Marry, fuck, kill. Leslie Headland, Kathleen Kennedy, and James Corden." It's a trick question because you'll use your kill on James Corden. You're actually right on that one. I think I would. Do humanity a favor. Turok says, "Keep an eye out for the channel Critical Diverse Female. Very new YouTuber, but I'm really loving some of her videos." Okay. Barry Berryson says, "First time super chat after 117 years of listening." Well, I'd say you got your money's worth out of us, so thank you, man. Appreciate it. Sam Wallace, "On fan service, my favorite scene in 2018 God of War is Kratos finding the Greek artifacts and giving Atreus his first bottle of wine, and I haven't even played the original God of War games."
Oh,
Nice.
Dude, it's fucking excellent. I remember as a big Greek fan, just seeing any of the tiny references and the expressions in it. I was just like, whoa, what are we doing? What's happening?
Yeah.
And then when he gets the blades and Athena shows up, that's one of my favorite, and I would happily call it fan service moments. It's so well justified and so excellently done and so respectful of the other games that it's just one of the best delivered ever, especially with how you can go like 20+ hours in that game of not much at all in terms of relying on the old ones. They branched out into the new shit, you know. But did you play the DLC?
I didn't know. I know you've recommended it to me, and I will get around to it. I just haven't had the chance yet.
One day. One day
indeed. Haywood Jablome says, "Hello, drinker and panel. Happy to catch a live open bar. Muller just ordered a set of plushies. Shout out to Disparu for his hilarious line, 'Mr. Horse, can you drool in my mouth? I'm dying of thirst.'"
And thank you. Yeah.
Jester of Roanoke, "Give us a real horror matchup. Movie Bob versus Darkside Phil."
I think it's a Movie Bob versus Boogie, but fair enough.
Yeah. If you had to put them in a fight, actually, Movie Bob and Boogie, who do you think would win? Like
Movie Bob, he is the psycho. He would just go, no, he would ravage. But Boogie's a coward. Like ultimately, he would just cry in the corner. He would be like, for any real fight.
No, I suspect so. Sembi says, "Hello guys. If you ever decide to start another anime, go with Code Geass, 48 episodes." All right, thank you. Casey Boyd, can't wait to meet you at Grand Rapids, drinker, driving 6 hours to attend. Will you be doing a heavily inebriated meetup at a local bar after the con? Maybe, like, we haven't got anything officially arranged, so if we do one, it'll just be like an unofficial meetup, like, hey, we're just at this bar, want to hang with us for an hour or two? So I will let people know. Haywood Jablomi says, shout out to EFAP78. I see it every Halloween. Cheers. Was that a Halloween special? Was it?
78. Let's see what it is. It's why I love Rise of Skywalker. It made me appreciate TLJ more. That was the videos we were covering. Oh,
good times. Jay Fraser, Mauler, have you seen Beyond the Mat yet? If you have, I recommend Hitman Heart Wrestling with Shadows as a follow-up. It's free on YouTube.
So Mel's coming over in like just over a month. He likes his wrestling, so I decided I'd probably wait for him and watch it with him. It'd be fun.
Yeah. Wrestling with Shadows is really interesting. I think you'd enjoy it. Casey Boyd, my mum watches the Spooky Fish South Park episode and Treehouse of Horrors for a Halloween ritual every year. I thought Mauler might appreciate that.
Yeah.
Daffy Duck, guys, would you save the world? But the kicker is, the only way to do it is to go back in time and then make sure that Steven Seagal is playing the T800 in T1. I don't think it's worth it, really. I would like that crazy alternate universe, though, where Seagal is the Terminator.
I don't feel the need to see that. I'd be like, oh, whatever.
Sam Wallace, my ideal Alien 3. Day 1 of Xenomorphs versus Texas-sized human colony. Grown-up fugitive Newt arrives uninvited to cripple the hive before humans are beyond saving. Strategic puzzle and psych horror focus. Okay. YouTube 24. Country with the best actors. Ireland, Scotland, or Australia? Scotland, obviously. We produce Sean Connery. You're welcome.
It's probably just going to be whichever one has the most population. So probably Australia, right?
Boo! Boring.
If Friggy were here, he would be like, obviously Australia, absolutely, easily. And you'd be sad.
Yeah. Casey says Arnie wins everything. Of course he does. That's why he's Arnie. Luke Caulfield says, in the Bible, Jesus cast out legion from the posted man. The demons beg to be sent into a herd of pigs. Also, they can possess idols. All right. I'll take your word for that one. And Casey Boyd is the last one. He says, you're asking the wrong questions. Whatever side is played by Arnie wins. I also agree with that.
Pretty much.
Yeah. That was the last of the super chats, everybody. So thank you for that. We enjoyed ourselves on Halloween. It was a nice old evening. And just as a little FYI, so this week coming, there won't be an open bar, but I will probably do an Ask the Drinker stream instead, because Mauler's got some other stuff he needs to do. So I figured I would just do something different this week, and then normal service will resume the following week.
Absolutely.
But that is us finished. So thank you, everyone. And that is all we've got for today. So go away now.
Bye.